Hey everybody, how's it going? I'm here once again to share my thoughts about what's going on in this crazy world of ours. I just wanted to get on for a second to talk about one of the most toxic but interesting things that I've seen, and it's that dating show, I guess it is, where they pop the balloons. A contestant comes out, to select a mate or select somebody they want to date or whatever, but there's like 5 or 6 people they get to choose from, but yet the people who they're choosing from get to decide if they want to be selected or not as well. And those 5 or 6 folks have a balloon, and they can pop the balloon if the contestant isn't someone that they aren't attracted to, or as they get to know them, there are different aspects about them that they don't necessarily like. So they get to pop the balloon, and if they pop the balloon, they eliminate themselves, and the contestant has to go on to somebody else if anyone else is available. I say it's toxic because it really exposes the craziness that's out there in the dating world. Listen, typically I avoid a lot of this dating stuff and mind my married business, but sometimes with the things I do catch, it gives me the motivation to make sure my situation works, because it's crazy out there. I don't envy you single folks at all, like at all. And I've only been married 8 years to this point, the point of this video. I've only been married 8 years, and it just seemed like the world has changed so much in those 8 years. Like, if I was out there now, I probably would be by myself, because my patience is low for a lot of stuff, just a lot of superficial stuff. My patience is low, and if there doesn't seem to be any meat or substance anybody is bringing to the table, men and women. Nobody's bringing meat and substance to the table. It's just superficial stuff. People are popping balloons because they don't like a person's outfit, or the pants somebody's wearing, or the length of nails, or the accent somebody, depending on what region you live, you may have an accent or whatever. People are popping balloons because of that. People are popping balloons, height, and height is always one of those things that's a touchy subject, especially for men dating. But people are getting their balloons popped for so many different things. Shallow, superficial things. Like, as a woman popping a balloon for a man because you don't like his pants, well, you can influence what your man wears. Or a man popping a balloon because of the length of a female's nails, you can influence her nail length. I mean, when you're in a relationship, hey babe, I don't really like when you wear this type of stuff. I like you in these, so on and so forth. So it's like, it's just a lot of different stuff that is like, crazy about it. And again, it makes me not envy single life at all. It gives me the motivation to make sure my marriage works. However imperfect it is, because it's relationships. All relationships are imperfect. There's no perfect relationship. So whatever those imperfections are, work it out, because my goodness, I've even heard single people say, or if I see on social media and stuff like that, well, people would discount somebody because of what phone they have. You have these iPhone, Android wars. If you come up with a green dot, a blue dot, all this kind of stuff. Or what if you have a Google phone? What if you have a Nokia? They probably don't even make phones no more. But listen, I'm so old. I remember when widespread cell phone use was first, rolled out. I got my first cell phone my senior year of high school. It was a little Nokia. It had Snake on it. It had the buttons. They charged you per text message back then. That was 20 years ago at this point. But that just shows you how much the world has changed in a relatively short time. And at least back then, there seemed to be a variety of cell phones, whether you had a Motorola, a Nokia, whatever Sprint phone, whatever singular wireless, there was a lot more variety in phone models. And hey, who cared? You had a phone. And so for your dating decision to boil down to what type of phone somebody carries, keep me out these streets. Keep me out these dating streets. Let me mind my married business. And this balloon popping show just highlights that. It just highlights just how toxic folks really are, and it explains why there's so much widespread singledom from people who really want a relationship. But we get hung up on they're not even getting to a person's character. They're not even getting to what a person does for a living or their moral base. I don't like his pants. I don't like her nails. They're a dreadhead. Okay. I mean, who's to say the person that you do end up with start off with a low cut or a cut like mine, and then one day decide I want dreads? I mean, you gonna end a relationship? Y'all been together for 5 years, and because they make a hairstyle choice, or maybe you get with them because they had dreads. And then, as bound with most people, men especially, there comes a point in time where they cut them. Maybe hairline receding, maybe it's their hair starting to thin or whatever, just for the health of their hair. Women too, you gonna break up with them? It's a really crazy aspect of pursuing a long-term meaningful relationship. And I know attraction is what gets everybody in the door. I'm not saying if somebody's butt ugly, I'm not saying just look past that. But again, attraction is important. But for a lot of this other superficial stuff, it just really doesn't resonate and shouldn't resonate as much as it does. We're all just trying to make the best of a messed up situation, whatever that messed up situation we find ourselves in. We're trying to make the best of it, and it's better to go through this life of a messed up situation with somebody than to keep marking people off your list. After a while, you find yourself what you have left to choose from. You'll then still find undesirable because by then you're 40 and your ideal person is 27. I mean, or I don't know. It really compels me and motivates me to mind my married business. I stay out of those single people podcasts. Those relationship podcasts hosted by a bunch of single people who are in relationships themselves. Because it's toxic.